So today I'm going to show you how to make a Bloop game.
Oh yeah, the Bloop game. This is a very awesome game. I like it. And then you guys may like it too.
Yeah, and you can make it with this program that's free called MakeCode Arcade. And I'll put the link in the description. That's arcade.makecode.com. And it lets you play on these little devices. You make the thing on the computer, you can then put it on the device and you can play it. And we tried a couple devices, and the one that we like is called the Elecfreaks Retro Arcade, and we like it because it's got a bigger screen, right?
The X-Tron Pro, which we bought before this one, it was a problem to us because it had a really small screen. When where you stare at it for a long time, it might hurt your eyes. But this one, it's a little bit bigger and better.
And I want to show you, you put the logic together with these things called blocks. And it's got a bunch of different blocks. But before I get into that, I want to show you the other part of your game is your art, your assets. I draw all mine in this program because it's quick and it's simple, and it makes kind of cool little pixely art. You can come in here and you can make an image. You can make a tile, which is for a big tile map of tiles, and that can be your level that you bring your little character through. And then the fourth one here is the animation, which is an image with multiple pictures. So when I have here, I have an image, and then down here I have
like a moving image.
That's right. Yeah, and so I have a few things here. I have a jellyfish too. I have a jellyfish image,
You
and
have,
then I have a jelly.
a diver picture. You have a dead end picture, and you have the rock pictures, and finally you have the Bloop picture.
That's right. I have pictures. I have animations for jellyfish and for diver, and then I have down here I have the level, and the level is the thing that you play in. You're the diver and you play in it, and when you go in the level, you can see. If I zoom in here, you can see I kind of put a simple level together here, and
there's some like obstacles.
Yeah, you can see
that your character has to go through.
And on this level, there's different kinds of tiles that form the big image. So we have like edge tiles here, and the reason it's all red is that shows where the walls are. So those are the places that you can't go through with the swimmer. If I turn those on and off, you see the red goes away, and this is what the level looks like in the actual game. You want to tell us how to play the game?
Yeah. So basically, you have a diver, and then it tells you a message that says, "Oh, look out! There's the Bloop," and then you swim and swim and swim, and then at the end, if you swim away from him, you could actually complete the level.
That's right. So mainly you're trying to get away from the Bloop, and there's some other obstacles, but the Bloop keeps coming, and you don't want to get eaten. And it looks pretty cool on this little screen. Okay, so these are all art. I'll link this so you can get at it if you want to make the Bloop attack game.
Also, you don't just watch out for the Bloop. You also have to watch out for the jellyfish.
That's right. You don't want to touch the jellyfish either. It's kind of an avoiding running away game, but it's fun. All right, so let's get started with the logic here. And the logic is what the game does when it runs. And MakeCode makes it pretty easy because everything starts in the on-start block. And that's a special block that appears for every project, and it's green, and can let you start putting other logic in there, and all that logic will run when the game plays in the order that you put it. So the first thing we want to do is why don't we make the sea blue? So I'm going to go in here, scene, and I want to say set background color. It goes like you're popping bubbles laying down logic. And so when I put this in here, I can choose
the color of what you want. So if it's blue, look right now the background just turned blue.
Right, so we're off to a good start here. We got our blue C, right? So that's the first thing we need. We need a blue C. And now, well, we know we need a player.
So we go to sprites.
So we're going to take this one out of sprites. And this says, set my sprite to sprite of kind player. And that's going to make it really convenient for us to get this game started, because what you can do with this player is you can say, hey, control me with the arrow buttons, and it knows how to handle that. You don't have to write any extra logic. So let's start here, and what we can do is we don't have to call it my sprite. Why don't we name it here? Yeah, so why don't we name it diver?
Yeah, diver.
And if you want to go down here, you can come up with your own name. You can say rename variable.
We'll call this like diver. And then you press and then right now it's starting to save.
But it's not showing anything, right? Because
we need to like make a picture of it.
Yeah, we have to tell it what picture to use. And so here's the key, is that when you make a sprite, you make it with a picture. You can have an animation, but you can't start the sprite with an animation. You have to make the sprite with an image, and then you can say to that sprite, animate. But you got to start by selecting an image. So I have an image here of the diver. We're going to choose that. We're going to say done. And so there he is. He's right in the middle of the screen.
But the problem is he's not moving.
Yeah, he's not doing anything, right? So, all right, so you want to make him swim next?
Yeah, let's show them how to make him swim.
Okay, so this is pretty simple. You know, in this game, he doesn't do anything different but swim. But when you're going really quick trying to avoid the bloop, it doesn't really matter. You can just have a simple swim animation and it looks pretty good. So let's get that going. And you have to go down. It's under this advanced section where there's extra blocks. You should always know about the advanced, because I don't know what game would be fun without any animation, but in the sidebar here. So I'm going to go in here, and what we want to do is we want to choose this one. It's the first one in the list, and we're going to say animate. And we're going to say, all right, so we got to tell it, what do I animate? All right?
Like we can't call it my sprite anymore.
Right.
We have to call it diver. Remember, it's the diver.
Let's find it.
And then you go to frames.
We're gonna
go to something that says my assets, and look, there we go. We have a picture of a diver that is moving. We click on that, and then we press done.
And there it is.
And then there he is. And then soon the screen. Look, now he's like kind of like swimming.
But he only did it once. So what we need to do to have him keep going is we got to say this animation is a loop animation. And I made this one so that it loops, but you got to realize is that when you animate and it goes over and over again, you got to be careful that the animation looks good when it loops. So we're going to turn on loop, and now you're going to see
the diver. Look, the diver swims doing his motion like a couple times.
Yeah, he's just going around and around. He just keeps swimming, right? Before we get to the bloop, I think what we should do is, why don't we have the controller move our diver around? And MakeCode makes this really easy. So I'm going to put that here. Who am I going to select? Not my sprite. I'm going to select our buddy diver here. And it says move diver with buttons. Now watch this. Now that I've done that, right?
Now you could actually move him. You can move him back and forth.
And if you click on this plus sign, it'll actually let you control how fast he moves in both directions. So you have a VX and a VY, and that means velocity X, which is left and right, and VY, which is up and down. And right now they're set to these values. And I think what we want to do is we want to set these probably, I guess, let's say, for now, let's say 50, and we'll say 30. So he'll go a little faster back and forth than he goes up and down. So let's see that. Yeah, let's make it a little bit faster. Let's make it 60. Let's make it 60 and 30.
Okay, there we go.
So it's back, so forward and back goes a little bit quicker, you know, and you can play around with that, but I think that's a pretty good value. And now we want the star of our Bloop Attack game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got to get the big guy in
and
here.
then also we have to put the obstacles. But before we get to the obstacles, we gotta first put Mr. Bloop into.
Let's get the star of the show going here. Let's get the big man himself. So we're gonna take another kind of sprite.
Yeah, get all those popping noises into there. But we can't call it diver because basically it's not the diver. So we put Bloop base.
That's right.
And
because
then we need to find the picture.
I want to remind you that what I did is I made I made the Bloop in 2 layers. Because I'm thinking I want it to look like the Bloop's eating the diver. And the way I do that is that I have part of the graphic blocking the diver. So in here.
So we go to you go to my assets, and then you find the Bloop base, and then you click on that, and then you could click done again.
And there he is. He's going. What is the Bloop? What sound does he make? Oh, yeah. Like it's just like the ocean getting sucked in. It's the sound of the whole ocean getting sucked in his mouth. That's.
Like it's going. And then actually this creature right here, the Bloop, actually got its name from the sound it makes because it looks like Bloop. Oh, and look at this.
What's the problem here?
Oh, look, our big guy came in. The Bloop came.
The big guy came in, it's a little too big. But you can see how big he is compared to the diver, right? I mean, that diver is really in trouble with this guy. So what I want to do is I want to set the position of the Bloop. And I do that with this block. Set my sprite X to 0. So we're going to change that. We're going to adjust this to a negative value. We got
to remember to change the name to Bloop base.
All right, Bloop base. Okay, so that's a good start, right? We got a good start here. Oh, but here's the problem. Where's the diver?
Where's the diver? It looks like it got sucked in.
It does. It looks like that, but it's actually under the Bloop. So what we have to do, and this is the key. This is something the key realizes that the stuff is drawn in the order you make the blocks. So the reason the diver's not showing is it's behind the Bloop. So the way we change that is we set it to be before.
Oh, look!
You better run.
That. So now with the diver, you can clearly see how big the Bloop actually is compared to the diver. Oh my goodness, look at that. The diver is like, look at the little diver swimming for his life.
Yeah, we need that sound now, like, or, yeah, the ocean's getting sucked and the diver's along with it. All right, so that's us so far, and now.
But there's a problem. The Bloop is actually not moving.
Okay, yeah. So let's make the Bloop. Let's make the Bloop move, and we need the top 2, right? So let's figure this out. Let's do one at a time. Let's do the Bloop moving first. And so the key thing, guys, is to realize that when something moves, it means something needs to happen every so often. On a certain time interval, it has to happen again and again and again. And in that place where that logic happens again and again, that's where you put events like moving the Bloop. Maybe you have some other game logic in there, but that's the thing you want to look for when you're making a game. And that means
we have to go into something that says game. We have to press the first one.
That's right. You have to make a game on update.
Move it here. It's
right. Game on update, and what we put in here is we put our Bloop moving. So let's do that. Change what?
Oh yeah, change it to Bloop base.
Yeah, and the reason I have so many variables already in here, these are all variables. The reason I have so many is before I made this video, I went and I made I figured out all the logic. So I still have a lot of that in there. But anyway, let's choose Bloop base. Change Bloop base by 1. Let's do that.
So let's see what happens.
Oh no! Oh.
Wait, but look, there's another problem.
There's a couple problems here.
Also, you don't. The bloop looks like it just passed you.
And also the bloop doesn't have all its body, right? I didn't draw all its body.
Oh yeah, like the tail is missing.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to see that. It's supposed to take up enough of the room, enough of the screen that you don't see the end of it.
But there's actually a problem because also we have to whenever the bloop comes, the bloop has to eat the diver.
Right, it has to look like it's going inside the mouth. That's what I want at least. I think that's
so that's where the bloop top comes in.
That's right. Let's do the bloop top, and remember the order which you add the blocks up here is going to make it draw. So what we want is we want to draw the bloop base, the diver, and then the bloop top. So let's do it. Let's add it.
And then
add it right here. And then we choose it.
And then we go to bloop top, which actually looks like when you look at it from a side.
Yeah, like if you did a cross section, because that's what basically all I did is I took the same art and I just cut this part out so that I could cover over the diver when he came into view.
Okay, so now we press done, and then let's see what happens.
Oh, that's a little weird.
But that's a little weird because did you just see that? The bloop top did not actually cover the bloop base.
Yeah, let's fix that.
It's kind of weird because it kind of looks like there's two bloops, except one is the base, one is the top.
So let's say, and I don't want to call it my sprite. I forgot to change that too. That should be called bloop top. Let's change the bloop top. And then let's say we don't want this to be here because let's get that under here. Sometimes moving the blocks around can be a little difficult. All right, and then we want to say...
And then we don't want my sprite. We want bloop top.
That's still pretty weird.
But that's still pretty weird because look, it looks like two bloops.
Yeah, it might be right if we move them both at the same time. Though, let's see how that looks. So we know now we want to move both at the same time, right? So let's do that. Let's say, and here's a cool thing you can do. This is a thing that makes it easy. Is that you can right click on this block and say duplicate, and it'll give you another that's just like it.
Another copy of what you just did.
Right, and you can see actually the bloop's going even faster now because I'm telling it to change by 1 twice, so it's actually changing by 2 each game update. But let's do this. Let's say bloop top.
So now let's see what happens.
Whoa!
But that looks so weird. That looks
really
so weird.
And the reason it looks weird is we have to say its X we have to set its X a little different than we set its Y because it still looks like there's two bloops. Right. Almost.
But it collaborated the top with the base.
Oh, that looks pretty good. Oh, there he goes.
Oh!
But he comes back.
Look.
No, there he is.
Oh no!
Oh, but don't worry, he won't. We'll make the logic. He doesn't need to be blocked for all of it. It just needs to be blocked.
So now look what happened. Look what happened. Now the bloop looks like he's actually swallowing the diver.
So here's what we're going to do. When it gets that far in his mouth, right, like there or so, I mean, obviously not right there. When it gets far in his mouth, like there.
Like when.
That's when we'll say game over. So we just need it to cover that much because we're going to say game over right here. Because you're eating, right?
You're eating, and then you got swallowed by the bloop.
And so this is our game so far, is that you want to, so let's press start and start swimming right away. Oh no! All right, that's not a very good game, but you can see where we're going with this. So the problem right now is that there's no world, so there's nowhere to swim to.
And there's no obstacle either.
All right, so we're gonna do that next.